All right, everyone, welcome back to our philosophical foundations of ethics lectures. We talked about deontological ethics and we talked about Kant last time. Now we're going to talk about teleological ethics and utilitarianism with the figure of John Stuart Mill. John Stuart Mill, kind of the father of utilitarianism. Okay, utilitarianism basically is the maximum pleasure for the maximum amount of people, or the maximum happiness, minimum suffering for the maximum number of people. Maximum joy, maximum happiness, maximum pleasure for maximum people, minimum pain, minimum suffering for minimum people. That's what utilitarianism is. His harm principle is the only reason to restrict individual liberty is to prevent harms to others. That's where laws come from. So, utilitarianism, basically, you have to think of it like this, tries to create a society where 99% of people are happy. 99% of people are happy. That's its goal. Maximum pleasure for maximum people. 99% of people are on the average happy. Laws come from harm principle. Okay, if it brings me joy to rob a bank, why should I not rob a bank then? John Stuart Mill. That brings me joy. What stops me from robbing a bank? Well, he would say, because you robbing a bank harms other people and other people's happiness, because you're basically stealing other people's happiness, you can't rob a bank. That's the harm principle. So we create a law that says you can't rob banks through this harm principle. The law comes through a calculus of deciding, does the taking away of liberty and reducing happiness, because liberty is taken away for individuals, increasing the happiness for the society as a whole. I have to do the calculus between those two things. Does the society as a whole getting joy outweigh the individual liberty being taken away? Why? Because maximum happiness for maximum amount of people. So you have to, he does this little thing called his happiness calculus or whatever he calls it. That you're doing a math equation basically and trying to decide, I restrict people from driving 75 miles per hour, even though some people are very happy driving fast because it protects life and it brings more happiness to more people. So there's this give and take in the math equation of making laws. That's how you come up with a restriction through utilitarianism. But the number one principle of utilitarianism is maximum happiness for maximum number of people. You might be thinking to yourself, how is utilitarianism teleological ethics? Didn't you tell me teleological ethics is goal ethics? Well, yeah, this has a goal, namely maximize happiness. Maximizing happiness is the goal. Let's think back to Kant. Think about the categorical imperative, irrespectful of desires and motives. That's what makes it deontological. You have to do the duty irrespectful of desires and motives. No such imperative would ever exist with John Stuart Mill. Right? Everything is based on desires and motives of people and happiness of individuals. Every duty is based upon that. It's based upon goals, based upon the happiness of people. Where none of the duties here are based upon happiness or the joy of the individual. All of the duties here are based upon the joy. Okay? Till next time.